Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator news and updates. Few pieces of new information for you that I think you guys are going to like, so stick around. If you are interested in acquiring any of my Overkills tutorial guides for Microsoft Flight Simulator, please consider joining me on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides, as well as any future updates and future guides that will be coming down the road. Link to Patreon can be found in the description below. Okay, first up on the list, Got Friends is back, so you know I'm definitely going to be reporting on them. Got Friends releases the Discus, I think is how you say it. I was trying to find it on Google because I don't think it's just Discuss, but I think it's Discus is what I saw. 2 Charlie Premium for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now, this is the first glider that is the payware, is my understanding. The first premium payware glider that is available for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now, this is going to be just like with all of Got Friends and their products. High textures, high fidelity. It has a winch package. It has a tow plane package. The tow plane can be either AI or multiplayer, which I think is freaking cool. That would be really awesome to set up like a gliding day. You know, if we can get enough people where we all have gliders, I'm definitely going to pick this up. We're going to try this one out. You guys are going to see this on the channel very soon. But I think it'd be really neat to set up like a group flight where a few of us are running the tow plane and then you have people up flying in the gliders, maybe switch roles. This could be a really exciting thing. You know, at first I was just like, it's a glider. And then I got to thinking about it. I was like, you know, once I read that the multiplayer version or that you could have a multiplayer tow and glider setup, that changed the whole thing. I got to think, I'm like, that could actually be really cool and a lot of fun to do. So let's talk about the airplane. The glider is a single seat high performance sailplane. It is 18 meters. I believe that's going to be from wingtip to wingtip. I think that's the wingspan is what they're looking at there. A maximum speed of 174 miles per hour. That's honestly a lot faster. I guess I was let's call it what it is. I guess I'm ignorant when it comes to gliders. I just have to own that one because I didn't think they could go that fast. And I suppose, you know, when you think about it, that makes perfect sense. You know, it's going to be based on steep of angle and wingspan, all that jazz. But that's cooking right along. You know, I mean, that smokes a Cessna 172. You know, so I was pretty impressed by that. This is a YouTube video, so make sure that you guys, if you want to check it out, you check out the link in the description below, and you can come here and click on the YouTube video and watch that. You have 2 different variants. There's the premium package that includes the original variant as well as a motor variant. I'm not quite sure what the motor actually does. I believe it gives you some powered flight capability, but if I remember correctly from reading about motor variants and gliders after watching this, I believe it's a limited power scenario. So again, here's the cool part. There is also a built-in winch launch and winch launch system. And then as well as, here it is right here, the tow plane that could be multiplayer or AI. I think that is so freaking cool. I just can't get past that. Like, my mind is going right now. I'm sure you guys can hear it in my voice, about some really neat scenarios that we could do with this and have a lot of fun. We could do landing challenges. We could do scenery exploration. There's so much we can do with this, guys. I think this has just changed the dynamic for group flights. You know, we got to bring that back to the channel. I know I've been sort of absent on that for a while. I need to get my head out of my butt and get back on that. The other thing that I'm going to say right now, if you guys are new to the Got Friends product, you have Got Friends, Got Gravel. Got Friends is 2 different companies. I'm sorry, guys, I can't remember what the other one was, but I think it was 2 different companies, maybe 3, that sort of merged together and started working as a team and developed Got Friends. But one of the developers that I am aware of is the Got Gravel. And all of their products, all of the teams that have, you know, I've checked out every single one of their aircraft individually, and I'm feeling like such a crap head right now for not remembering the other companies or the other teams, but they do fantastic work. Okay, fantastic work. Got Gravel, you guys can just search Got Gravel on FlightSim.2 just to give you a brief idea. There's a bunch of free aircraft there. Really did a lot of the STOL aircraft, short takeoff or landing aircraft. Their textures are all on point. All of these teams, as a whole, as a team, the Got Friends team does amazing work. They do it very, very reasonably priced. I think this is $15 is what I just saw for this. We're going to go back and double check that. But I mean, the texturing is always awesome. Their flight models are great. You really feel that you're in their aircraft. I mean, look at this. This looks wonderful. Yeah, we're going to be checking this out. It's going to be a busy weekend. They just filled my schedule is what they did. Thanks a lot, God friends. But let's see here. Yeah, $15 from FlightSim.2. So I'm going to be picking this up. We're definitely going to be seeing this on the channel this weekend. So guys, keep an eye on that. If you want to hold off until you see my video, by all means, here's a list of the features that are included with it. And I just can't stress it enough. If you trust my word and trust my opinion, don't wait for me. Pick up their product if this is even remotely interesting to you. They do such amazing work, and they're always priced so well. Their GBR3 is a blast to fly. That fast little SOB. You fly that thing in VR if you feel like making yourself vomit. It's pretty awesome. But really excited to see that they are back at it again. This is probably going to be the first. No, this is going to be the first glider that I have attempted in any kind of flight simulation. And honestly, guys, just to give you a little bit of further support here, when I saw the name is when I was immediately sold on the product. So can't wait to try this one out. This is going to be a lot of fun. Cool scenarios. All right, I'll be quiet. Let's move on. Aeroplane Heaven releases the Havilland Canada DHC-1 Chipmunk. The Chipmunk is an aircraft from 1947 to 1956. There was a bunch of them produced. 1,200 of them were produced, and a bunch of them are still flying today. It is a pretty awesome looking airplane. I believe this was used as a trainer, if I remember correctly, as I was reading on it the last time that we did an article on this one, but it's finally been released again. Texturing looks absolutely wonderful. They are releasing two different variants. You have the long canopy and then the bubble canopy version. But again, look at the texturing. Texturing looks absolutely beautiful. Tons of artwork put in showing that wear and tear in the age of what is now an over 80-year-old aircraft, essentially. I believe there are still kits that you can get for this. I was doing a little bit of research on this the last time that we did a report on this one, and I believe there are kits that you can buy as a brand new aircraft, if you will. But there's still a ton of these from the original day that are out there. So much like your P-51 Mustangs and the Corsairs that are still out there, this is just another piece of aviation history that's still available to the public. I like the red light cockpit. I've always thought the red light, there's something about it, although I think it would actually be a lot harder on the eyes in the end, but I do like the touch to it. Look at that. The LEDs are inside. Is that the actual? No. Okay. I thought that was the throttle for a second. I'm like, wait a minute. And then I see the throttle handle down there. Very interesting lighting system for that. That's definitely something new. Trim wheel down here. Looks like trim switches. Very, very cool. Definitely you can see that World War II era cockpit build, if you will, in the layout. But again, another very reasonably priced aircraft. So $28.95. Now, again, make sure you guys check out all the features first. There are two different variants of this aircraft that are being released. You guys can see that there's a ton of high-quality features, high-fidelity sound packages. You guys know that I'm a stickler about sound. So $28.95. Again, if both aircraft meet the expectation, if both variants are the high fidelity, if the flight model's good, if you truly feel like you're flying in one of these aircraft, then I don't have any problem with $28.95 for two aircraft. I think that's going to be really reasonable. We are going to check that out. That will probably be later on next week before we get to this one here. But another tail dragger, so it's like, but check this out. Read the entire thing. It comes with many special effects and unique code to iron out the default MSFS poor tail dragger performance. So talk about calling MSFS out on that one, but they did. So I am very interested to see how they have resolved some of those issues. I have seen that in every tail dragger video that I've done. Not to say that I'm any good at it. You got to be something humorous. Watch my DCS tail dragger videos. Dear Lord. But I do love flying them. They are absolutely challenging. But I have seen in many of the tail dragger videos, especially the Corsair ones that I've done, where people have said that, Mike, don't be too hard on yourself. The tail dragger performance isn't right, or this behavior isn't what it should be, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm kind of curious to see what that difference is. I think when I pick this up, first we're going to do like a flight in the Corsair or somebody who hasn't done any alteration to try to counter any of that effect. And maybe the Corsair has. I'll have to go back and read through the changelogs. And then come back. Or you know what? I think we'll do a default one, like maybe the Cub. We'll do a default tail dragger and then fly this tail dragger and see what the performance difference is as far as the behavior. I know there's a lot of dancing on the rudder pedals and things like that you're supposed to be doing as you're especially coming down to landing to avoid a ground loop. So we'll have to see what some of that offers. Anytime that I see, custom flight models, that always gives me a lot of hope. That always gives me a lot of, and not hope that, oh, great, they're going to fix Microsoft, but hope in that, when you see custom flight models, that mean that the flight model in general was paid very close attention to, right? And that's what we're all looking for in flight simulation. It's the whole package. You've got to have the looks, you've got to have the sound, you've got to have the behavior. If any one of those is off, your immersion has been broken. So they've certainly got the looks, absolutely got that. They've blatantly quoted down here that we have the sound, right there. So, and then up here, they're hinting to unique flight model code and behavior code. So that's, again, and you get 2 aircraft with this, 2 different variants of it. So super excited about this one. Again, the price I think is still very reasonable. As long as all 3 of those aspects are there, I think it's absolutely worth a shot. So we'll definitely be giving that a shot, and you guys can stay tuned later in the week for a review on this one as well. Next, we have some very interesting news coming out of PMDG. This is the first time I've ever seen a EULA be listed as news, and then after reading further through the article, I found out why. This was very, very interesting to me. So many freeware modders, just like we see on FlightSim.2, most of the mods and add-ons and texture updates and texture changes and new systems and tweaks, all those things that we have come to love and enjoy from FlightSim.2 and other flight simulator add-on sites are freeware. And we don't normally have any issue with them. Unfortunately, PMDG had a very, very strict EULA that you were not allowed to edit their aircraft, meaning that you weren't allowed to update the cockpit textures or create any kind of third-party add-ons or mods to their aircraft. Now, this was not a shot at PMDG, as the article goes on to say. This was a very, very strict policy that they had to adhere to from Boeing. It was Boeing who made it very, very clear, yes, you can make copies of our aircraft. They cannot be edited. They are to be as authentic representations of what our aircraft are and how our systems are and what they look like, etc., as they can be. We do not want basically Boeing didn't want their aircraft torn apart, chopped up, tweaked, changed to something that it's not. Okay, so every time that, and this is apparently according to the article, already happened quite a few times, if a freeware modder was posting something up on FlightSim.2 that was editing the 737 from PMDG, PMDG had to basically issue a takedown notice. What that is an email to the website hosting it and to the content creator saying, hey, you can't have this up right now, you need to take this down. We're not allowed to distribute this. This is a violation of our end user license agreement. Now, every single person who purchases most products, you'll initially, before you do the install, you'll see the user license agreement pop up. Okay, now where this has changed now is that now PMDG has worked with Boeing and talked to them and said, hey, look, I can only imagine what that conversation looked like, but I imagine something to the effect of, hey, this is simulation. These people are, let their creativity fly. They're not brandishing the aircraft. They're not demolishing it. They're not making it look like something it's not. And so through communication between PMDG and Boeing, freeware modders and creators are now able to do so. Here's the catch. If you are a freeware modder, if you are someone who is wanting to, maybe you've already made some in the past, and this article goes on to say that. I do recommend, if you are a freeware modder of the PMDG 737, please read this article thoroughly because it's pretty good for you. But if, the sum up is that if you create a mod or add-on or something for the PMDG product line for a Microsoft Flight Simulator, you need to reach out to PMDG first. Let them know what your artwork is. I basically send them a copy of it, screenshots, things like that, whatever it may be. And then, let them, provide their input to you. Let them know, yep, this is okay to go for it. And then you can post it. And, read the article here. You guys, for anyone who's a modder, I would read this right now, definitely go ahead and pause the screen. Just read through that. I think that you'll find that very appreciative. The other thing about this article is we have the PMDG 737, the latest release. Massive animation change. Massive animation change. The trim wheel, the yoke, the gear handle, the flap handle, all those things are working nice and smooth as silk now. Absolutely great. They absolutely were very, very odd to use in previous videos that I've done. You know, you'd sort of like click on something and then wait a second for it to catch up. That has all changed. It works very, very smoothly now, very, very beautifully now. I'm very impressed with that. And then there's a full access to the changelog here on this site, on FS Elite here. So make sure that you guys, if you're interested in the full changelog from for the PMDG 737, I would suggest clicking the link and coming and check it out. It's down at the bottom of the page here. But very, very awesome stuff. Go to PMDG. Hats off to you guys. Thank you for pushing to make the community more available to their creativity. That is really awesome, because it's certainly a big part of what makes the flight simulation so cool, is all the different community add-ons that we have available to us. So once again, you guys are badasses. I support PMDG. I love you guys so much. And then to all of you third-party developers and modders, same to you. You guys make the sim turn, definitely. All right, so let's move on to our next product here. Finally, a really cool event that I am already sitting here grinning ear to ear and nervous as crap about, because I think I'm going to try it. Participate in SimVenture Oshkosh 2022. This is an event that is hosted by Pilot Edge. Now, for those of you who don't know, Oshkosh is one of the largest fly-in, real-world fly-in events that happens in the United States. It is huge. You have, there you go, right there. Yeah, over 10,000 aircraft visit Wisconsin's Whitman Regional Airport every year. It is a huge thing. I believe this is also called Fun in the Sun. I hope I'm not confusing the two different events, but I believe they're one and the same. But tons of aircraft come into play. And because there's so many aircraft constantly coming in and out of the airspace, you have very, very specific and out of the norm flight procedures in order to come in and out of the airspace. It's extremely busy air traffic. You have to be very, very precise, and you're flying very, very on point. Pilot Edge is already badass. I have been debating for a while setting up VATSIM, and I think I'm still going to try out VATSIM, but I think I'm just going to bite the bullet and resubscribe to Pilot Edge. I think it was like $20 a month. The thing about Pilot Edge is it's real-world air traffic controllers, and the catch to that is it's not necessarily 24 hours, and it's not countrywide. I think it's U.S. West Coast is primarily what they service. But again, you're working with a real-world ATC. They will bust you if you break their rules, break your altitudes, bust your altitudes, etc., bust speed restrictions. You can find them to the point where they basically say, hey, you either need to restart your flight, or terminate the flight and start over, or, etc. They'll just boot you and stop the service for that particular flight. So it's real ATC behavior. Like, you got to be on point. However, this particular event seems pretty freaking cool. So the idea is it's going to be before the actual real world event. So if you are a real pilot and you want to practice your scenario and get ready to be entering into that kind of airspace and that kind of traffic situation, this is great for you. It is from Thursday, July 14th until Sunday, July 17th. And it says here the exact times for each day have yet to be confirmed, so we're going to have to wait for that to come out. But a week before this event, there's going to be a free scenery package that we can install for Microsoft Flight Simulator and actually I disregard, I think it's all four simulators. Let me back up. I don't want to quote that. It is no. Microsoft Flight Simulator P3D, P3D5, and XP11. So all four simulators are supported for this particular event. So sick. That is too awesome. But I'm telling you right now, it's going to be intense. And if we do it, I will definitely stream it. I will not be talking much. This won't be a chit-chatting where I'm hanging out with you guys, but I'll definitely either you guys will watch me make a complete ass out of myself, or you'll learn something, and so will I. So let's see here. I've got a little over, right now is June 25th. So we have 1 full week, 2 full weeks, and I believe July would be, okay, so here, yep, 1 full week. There's week 2, there's week 3, almost 4 weeks that we could that I have to practice for this, and you as well if you choose to do so. I would recommend, if you want to do this even for 1 month, subscribe to Pilot Edge and start flying with them right now, because again, real world ATC. So first, get comfortable with it. I recommend, if you guys, even if you're on the fence, if you're nervous about it, pick your smaller airports. That's one of the reasons why I actually really do enjoy flying out of my home city in Tucson. We're not a very large airport. We are not a very large, we're not a very busy airspace. And if you catch Pilot Edge and there's slower times, especially later in the evening or very early in the morning, if that's something that's available to you, that tends to go better as well. But being in the smaller airspace, you know, you don't have as much traffic to worry about. You get a little bit more time to get comfortable with it. But I think, you know what, for simulation events, and again, I get it, this is going to be something that you have to take very seriously, but I'm going to give this a shot. I think I'm going to try this. I want to try it. And it'll let me know if my ATC verbiage is as BS as I think it is, or if I'm not as bad as I think I am with it. We'll find out. Anyways, I really hope that you guys have enjoyed this particular video. I hope you guys are looking forward to some of the same stuff that I am. Should be an exciting week and next couple weeks for flight simulation here. And as always, folks, stay safe and healthy. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you in the next one.